Celtics have to figure out a way to stop Jimmy Butler. One way to do that would be to have the Defensive Player of the Year, Marcus Smart, on the court. What's the latest on him and Al Horford?
Christine, we got good news and bad news for the Celtics injury front right now. So Marcus Smart has been upgraded to probable. I do believe he's going to try to play tonight. But within the last few minutes, the Celtics just announced that Derek White, who's one of their key defensive perimeter players, is going to miss tonight's game due to personal reasons. So one step forward, one step back in terms of depth. This is a factor because one of the reasons why the Heat were so successful in the second half of Game 1 is that they attacked Peyton Pritchard, who had to play way more minutes than normal. And now, even if Marcus Smart is effective and is able to come back and play close to normal minutes, which we may not want to assume because he's got this sprained foot, with no Derek White, they're going to have to, again, rely on Pritchard. So that's one thing. Now the Al Horford issue. He is listed as doubtful for tonight, and that is not a surprise because in health and safety protocols, typically the minimum you're going to be out is 5 days unless you test out. And testing out has multiple stages and is not simple in terms of timing. So the fact that he would not play in tonight was something the Celtics were prepared for. But they also have the reality that he very well could not be available depending on how he's feeling, depending on how the tests go, for Saturday's Game 3. And you look up and down this Celtics roster. You've got Robert Williams, who is back but still dealing with the knee issue. You've got Jason Tatum dealing with a wrist issue. You've got Jaylen Brown still coming off of a hamstring issue. This is a very good team, but they are not particularly deep. They really only run about 7.5 players. So these injuries are a real threat to this series and their chances at a title.
Wendy, I'm not sure if you know this, but have we found out whether if Al Horford has had a negative test yet or not?
I don't know that. A couple of things that are important, Jay, I can tell you. Al Horford, on the record with the Boston Globe within the last 6 weeks, has said that he is vaccinated. I still am not 100% clear whether he's symptomatic. Ime Udoka, by the way, I should point this out. Ime Udoka missed yesterday's availability due to what the Celtics call the non-COVID illness. And the Celtics have several other positives within their traveling party. So everything right now is a little bit fragile. But The last time we checked with Ime Udoka, he said that Horford, quote, felt fine. So being symptomatic is a factor here. And we don't have an update on how Al is feeling. We'll hopefully get that later today.
Wow. I mean, obviously not having Al Horford really hurts the Boston Celtics just because of his ability to spread the floor. But also, Wendy, the experience, right? Like, that is a guy, he's a constant communicator, one of the backbones of the defense, a guy that can communicate to the guards what all the actions are on every single ball screen as that changes due to personnel. And also, like, his ability to make shots, and that allows Bam Adebayo to literally roam the paint. And also, that makes it difficult for guys like Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown to even get into those gaps to find a way to finish at the rim or kick it out to three-point shooters. But the thing that is interesting most of all is Marcus Smart trying to come back and not be fully healthy. With now Derek White being out, you're still going to need to utilize Peyton Pritchard. And I said it before you came on, Wendy, and I love Peyton Pritchard. I watched him play at Oregon. He's one heck of a player, tough as nails, made some difficult shots for them in Game 1. But there's certain players as an NBA player, when you see them walk on the floor, if you get to an Eastern Conference Finals or semis or a World Championship, or heck, even back in college, if a guy gets hurt, you see him, all right, you are going to be the guy. And how you play today will dictate whether your team can stay in this game or whether your team gets beat up. Because Spo will find a way to get Peyton Pritchard to guard Jimmy Butler or get Peyton Pritchard to guard who they want in all the action. And that is a major concern for Ime Udoka and the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, and one thing I will say that, the Heat are missing Kyle Lowry. He will miss the game, but they are 7-0 without Kyle Lowry in these playoffs. And one of the reasons is because they get tremendous play off the bench from Gabe Vincent, a guy who's an undrafted player who they've developed throughout the season. The Heat doesn't have the same top line talent, I don't think, as the Celtics, although I'm sure a Heat fan or somebody from the Heat organization would be glad to debate me or you on that issue. But the Celtics' depth is not comparable to the Heat's depth. The Heat can really comfortably play 9 or 10 players in this series without even breaking a sweat. And again, they would probably argue they could go deeper, but realistically, 9 or 10 players. The Celtics are just not at that factor right now. And again, the rest situation, even though we're into game 2 when there was no travel, the rest situation still favors the Heat. So, a real tough spot for the Celtics to be in. I will say that they are very resilient. Remember, they were down 3 different times in the series to the Bucks, 1-0, 2-1, and 3-2. They have won 4 road games in this playoff so far. So I am certainly not counting them out, but the hand that they're holding continues to deteriorate a little bit.
Wendy's not counting them out. Jay Will, do you feel like Boston absolutely needs to win this game tonight in order to make this a series?
No, I do not. I still believe they can go home and defend home court, but I'm extremely concerned about this series right now. And for me, not having Marcus Smart fully healthy, Wendy, you went through all the names. Robert Williams coming off that back injury. You talk about Jason Tatum, the dunk on Giannis, the wrist injury, how he's dealing with that. Jaylen Brown coming off injury to a degree. How Marcus Smart guards the likes of Jimmy Butler will be critical to tonight's game. And that will be tested each and every possession. And now not having Derek White, another guy that can initiate your offense or even just spread the floor once again, we understand how pivotal that is when you play a team like the Miami Heat who can shrink the floor when you get into those gaps. Guys have to be ready to shoot. That's a major loss. So, look, Marcus Smart can help them initiate the offense. I think Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have to explode. Those two need to be prolific tonight. They need to be prolific. And you need to get some kind of Herculean performance from Marcus Smart in order to compensate for all the pieces that are missing, because here's the one thing I do know about the Miami Heat. And you talked about Wendy living down there for a short stint. I lived down there for 3 years. I spent some time with some of those guys. When they smell blood in the water, they are sharks.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.